Hello, hello, hello. What's up, people? Good night. I hope you are well. I wish you are well. I don't know where you are watching me, but here is 34 minutes past 9 p.m. So it's getting late in the night a little bit because I go to sleep at 10 usually. Sorry, 11 p.m. But I turn off my technology at 10 a.m., 10 p.m. So we are ready for one more episode of Reading Club The Thinkers. So let's initiate one more episode. Unfortunately, today Marisabel Fernandes is not here because, well, she's the Portuguese version. She's a mother. She has one child. She has a job. She is studying at university. Marisabel Fernandes is a warrior, and she is also fighting for her dreams in the Reading Club The Thinkers in the Portuguese version. So no time today, unfortunately, for the English version. Probably she won't come in the next version, Vex English versions too, but she's on the Portuguese version, and you that are watching me from there, you can also enter in the Reading Club The Thinkers. To join, you just have to become a member in Patreon for 10, 20 euros a month, I believe. Or you can just become, you can become a thinker by 10, 20 euros dollars a month, and you can become a member just watching and enjoying some cool perks by becoming a member of the Reading Club The Thinkers. Not a thinker, just a member. If you want to support, but not to think a lot, or just watch. Okay, so let's begin with our ritualization, with our ritual. Welcome, thinkers. It is an honor to have you here. Person interested in thinking and in exploring the world of intellect, where the social barriers, they give up, they rise and disappear for some time while we travel in the world of knowledge without any end. You can interact at any moment through tips or with your commentaries or questions. You also can become a member adhering to Patreon with $5 a month or 10 with diversified perks to enjoy, or become a star and become a thinker. Welcome home. Feel free to feel like you are at your home too and enjoy your trip. You can start by entering on the portal by using the mini dictionary of some terms used with some frequency here in the description of YouTube. The thinker of today is John R. Silva, or João Rangel Silva in Portuguese. A young man that is studying psychology, full of passion for the world of knowledge without any end. Welcome. Today, unfortunately, it is the last episode of the book Men and These Symbols. In the Portuguese version of the club, we did today the 18th episode. Today here in English is the 5th one, and in 15 days we are going to start with another book from Carl Jung called Psychology of Unconscious, which I'm really excited about it. For now, well, I will share some ideas that we talked in the Portuguese version, and I want to talk a little bit of an idea that Marisabel Fernandes shared in the Portuguese version. She talked again a little bit in the myth of the hero, but she also quoted a book that in English it is called I'm looking for the goddamn part. Okay, here we go. The hero cycle of Winnebagos. Okay, so just to confirm, I will search on internet because translations sometimes are, yeah. Winnebago hero cycles. That's the precise way to put it out in English. Okay, really interesting. It is a way to look at the myth of the hero that Isabel Fernandes shared, and it's really interesting. I'm not sure if I shared with you guys on the last time. I believe not, because Isabel Fernandes wasn't here. But basically, the hero myth is an archetype slash a pattern of behavior that we have inside of us. Everybody passes or touches in some any moment of their life with the hero myth, or at least we should embrace it and not suppress it or negligentiate it. Negligentiate it. Okay, it's really interesting. It is a way to look at life where we are the heroes of our story, meaning we have challenges that can scare us a lot. We have also a purpose. We have some allies that will join us as we go through our life. And in a nutshell, like, it's really simple. We have a mission, a purpose, but it's like a kind of way of being in the world where we are full of challenges, emotion, fear, anxiety, all of those things. But you know where to go, meaning you can be lost, of course, but at least you know somehow what you have to do, or you look for it at least. Well, that's some phase of the hero myth for sure. And Isabel Fernandes isn't here, unfortunately, to share, but maybe in the future I can solidify a little bit more what I learned from here to share with you, because definitely it is worth thinking about it. The hero myth also is an archetype where we can get in touch with, meaning we can activate this archetype by watching inspiring people that somehow trigger us, by the environment. Sometimes just the situation in life make us have some spiritual, profound insight that make us want to do something good with our lives that is not nihilistic, and to fight for something better. But yeah, if you wanna to give a little bit of a shout out, the heroes, the Winnebago's hero cycle. There's also some scientific studies on this, which are really interesting. Isabel is going to share with me them soon, I hope. That it helped also lots of people with the process of trauma and other hard challenges that come from childhood, but doesn't even but it is not is even necessary to have some type of trauma slash challenges in childhood. Well, we can just be normal or relatively normal and activate that, so we can do better in our lives. And we can get meaning from simple things like sustain my family at home, do something in society, and maybe the challenge it is to get a new job. So that's the mission, and the myth goes in missions. Really, really, really interesting. So I'm going to share with you soon, I hope. I'm waiting for Isabel Fernandes to share with me the articles. Okay. And one thing that we also talked in the Portuguese version is that we should not suppress animal instincts slash forget about them. With that, I mean, we as a human beings that we like that we are, we also have animal instincts, because at the end, at the bottom of us, we are an animal, and it is normal for us as we go through life that we have some animal instincts in us acting out. Perfectly normal. But some people, they neglect those instinct emotions, instincts, because they are not socially acceptable lots of times. Actually, they are not acceptable, right? We don't accept primitive thoughts in society publicly, or at least that's the norm, or that's what we expect, right? So we don't expect to accept socially somebody that is doing an irrepressible, reprehensible social act, like, let's say, having sex in the middle of the street. No, never, right? but people can feel that urge as they are in society, right? And it is useful to recognize that and not negligiate that, definitely, as a way that we can incorporate that into our life in society so we can continue healthy and doing our job. So how can we incorporate that? Well, it's definitely not incorporate the feeling in us. It's like doing some kind of alchemy. It's transforming that into meaning, for example. Meaning, I believe that's the best word here. Meaning. So I reflect on that and I see it's not appropriate for me, and I reframe that into a way that is useful so I can regulate myself more and better next time that I am on the street and socializing with people. Or maybe not, but at least I recognize that so I can work on that. And definitely a psychologist or a therapist helps with that. Because this is not like this, right? This is never as beautiful as it sounds to talk and to listen to. So that's very important. In my opinion, it's meaning. In my vision, it's meaning that we can do as we reflect and we see when we see the profoundness of our psyche and we see these instinctive, primitive impulses. And I think a way where we can see and feel and incorporate this is when we look to somebody that is sad or needs help, and we feel the urge to help them in a conscious way that is not primitive, and we can for sure help just because it is a primitive instinct, but it's what I call a consciousness state of help, where I help consciously of what the hell I am doing. And we can do that, right? Like we can think, no, she is in a horrible position. It is normal that he is where he is, the way he is, and it is not acceptable for me to put him on some blame for the position he is. So instead of blaming him or putting him responsible for his behavior, I am going to give him a hand, but I'm doing it consciously. So it's precisely the same thing, but with us. And we can transform our emotions and feelings, of course, looking inside and, well, using your prefrontal cortex, the part of us that has reason. But it's not just reason. We can say it is, in a Jungian perspective, something more profound than that, something also maybe spiritual, metaphysical. I don't know what the hell it is. Meaningful. I believe it's meaning. We give meaning to that and we transform it. Well, I don't know. Well, yeah, it's that. Right? When we reflect on this instinct. Because we have free will. Or at least in a Jungian perspective, I think we have. At least I like to think we have. I didn't get yet into the part of Carl Jung talking in free will. Not sure if he will, but probably, if he had to talk, I believe he would say yes, as he's such a spiritual man. So, as I read more Carl Jung, I feel very excited, and I feel that I see more profoundly what is below the social interaction, what is below the social interactions that we have and interact and we see in life. And it's really powerful and meaningful. And that's why I also do these reading club, the thinkers, and that's why I do the videos and the knowledge that I share. It's because I think with this we can be more consciousness. We can expand our consciousness, and well, look forward to help healing society and ourselves. And I think knowledge or looking inside is the solution to cure the world, as hard as that it is. Because when we look inside also, and we look to get some responsibility on our behavior, when we accept our animal primitive instincts and our thoughts, and we look inside, well, definitely we will become more self-leaders. At least that's what I hope. We'll become more leaders. We will be he and having more responsibility on our life. We won't do so many behaviors that are not worthy of our attention if we think about them consciously. That's really interesting. So I believe on that, and for sure. So yeah, I think that we also talk in the Portuguese version is that when we suppress some thought that is intrusive, meaning we know that we should reply slash look at that thought so we can address it, find a solution, see what that means. But when we suppress it, and we continue with our life suppressing it, well, like we could do with our primitive instincts, it doesn't disappear, never. In mythology, the dragon grows, the problem gets bigger, and it can start to infest, I hope that's the right word, infest to other areas of life too. Because the anxiety grows, the fear also gets bigger, and that's bad. Also, so what can we do? Well, we can and should do psychological hygiene, mental hygiene, as we do with our teeth, as we do with our body. We get some shower. We should do the same for them with the mind. Be paying attention to our thoughts, and some thoughts will be more intrusive than others. And those intrusive thoughts, meaning intrusive thoughts here, the thoughts that maybe have some important to say to say and tell us, slash they appear, but we don't look to them, we don't fight the dragon, we don't look at them, we just suppress it. Well, it is not healthy. So mental hygiene can be, well, look at it and resignify something. For example, I remember a Portuguese psychologist that came to my podcast in Portuguese, and he told me that one day he was playing with their girlfriend. They were playing together, and she was looking at Spanish boys, big, strong, beautiful, and he was giving them compliments, but it was just photos. And they were playing a little bit. Yeah, that guy is pretty big. Yeah, that guy is pretty beautiful. That guy. And look at this. This also has some big muscles. Oh yeah. And then some hours later, he was arriving in Lisbon. It is like 3 o'clock p.m. He sees some Spanish guys, and he feels some jealousy. So, oh, there's something to fix here. So he picks on that thought. She grabs his notepad, and writes, well, it was just some Spanish boys passing by. My girlfriend, it was just joking and having fun and be playing with me. She likes me. Boom. Alchemy, it transformed and it solved. Imagine that he didn't did that. In the next day, it could happen again. And if it was, probably the problem could grow bigger. And as it was growing bigger, it could also infect the other areas of the relationship. For example, if he wasn't conscious and if it wasn't a psychologist, he probably could not notice that, sorry. And it could have been, well, a dragon that was growing, he neglecting that he was feeling jealously. And that could translate later into projections onto his girlfriend from things that he had from his past, meaning that the story of she complimenting him and he showing that he was okay, but later he saw he really wasn't. So that's really useful to know. There's some thoughts that we should face. Of course, some thoughts we don't have necessarily to face, I will argue, because as we go through life and as we sleep, as we sleep well, we have a good sleeping schedule, as we do physical exercise, as we eat healthy, we also do some emotional hygiene, meaning our emotions also get regulated automatically. But there's some things that maybe we have really to fix, and those we have to grab a pen, a pencil, and write it down to see if we can fix. If not, well, then contact a psychologist. So that's that with thoughts, but it can also happen with primitive instincts, so we can reflect on them, see they are not right, and we don't want to have those primitive instincts, so we can replace by another different meaning, and we have transformation happening within ourselves, within our body and soul. And also that can happen too, according to Carl Jung, men and his symbols, with some symbols slash images. In what he call in Portuguese symbols luminosos or images luminosos. And in English, this is really some specific word that I learned from Carl Jung. And I don't really know the translation, but numinous. Numinous, some luminous thing. And something that is numinous is something that it is celestial. So it's something like that is above us, like from some entity above. Is like something celestial, like something transcendental. Not necessarily an entity. That's not the best word, but it is something that it has some light. I guess we can say that it can have some light, definitely. So that can give us interesting feelings, not just emotions like anger, happy, sadness. No, it's something different like that. Something like I think we can compare to a light. And this is my interpretation and meaning when I read these things. But I think definitely this is part of a spiritual experience. And some images, symbols can give us that luminous feeling, luminous instinct. And we should also accept that, incorporate that, and not suppress it. Because when we accept that, we investigate into it, and it is definitely, in my opinion, a spiritual experience. When it is not the normal emotion, but something that is more than just emotion. It is something, I think it approximated with lightning experiences. It doesn't have to be lightning in the meaning that, oh, I know what the hell I have to do, but it can have some luminous meaning, luminous emotion, luminous feeling. It is not just a normal feeling. It is something that is luminous. And I hope that passes into you. And we also investigate into that. It doesn't necessarily have to be good, in my opinion. It can be bad, like dreams can have some interpretations, but it doesn't mean that dreams always give us a good advice. Definitely they can give us bad advice, as Carl Jung points out in this book, also Men and His Symbols. And with this luminous thing, it is the same thing. It can be, we can feel some luminosity, and it not necessarily can be something good, but normally I guess it is. So that's we have a curiosity mind. We think, oh, it's really interesting, and we explore, but nothing. It is certainty, and life can definitely feel lots of times chaotic. And we should accept that, not suppress it and negligentate it, because it can definitely become part of the conscious mind, but not in a good way, in a way that it is self-destructive to us or to other people, like into society, like into somebody that likes to see something burn and feels good with that, like it has pleasure in seeing pain in others, in seeing buildings burning. That's bad. It definitely can happen, right? Lots of people say that spirituality it is the cause it is the cause of lots of bad things that exist in the world. diseases, etc. Not the spirituality itself, but let's say the consequences of our use in spirituality. I guess that's a reasonable way to put it out. Or we not accepting that we can enter, or we not connecting into our spiritual life truly, and that is an interesting argument in my opinion. I can enter in the point of view in life that I can see that. Continuing with the content. So that is also very interesting to know. You know, sometimes we say that God talks with us in our consciousness. Our consciousness is a way to talk with God. Well, this numinous feeling is definitely a way of God talking with us. And we should not neglect God or this numinous feeling. It doesn't even have to be God. It can be whatever you want to call it, or just something that is numinous. Because when we neglect, well, we are definitely not doing a favor into ourselves. Just sit and attribute the meaning that is to be attributed, right? And this can get complex, of course, unbelievably complex, and depends on the culture, religious background, society. But we can definitely share some experience where we might identify ourselves with in these type of situations. Maybe, I hope. And I think when you look at these types of thoughts, numinous experiences, etc., these lots of times awkward things, I think that when we do that, we expand our consciousness. And well, not doing that, it can definitely lead us to not pleasurable situations in life. Like a video that I did, Narcissistic Compassion 2, which is socially signaling virtuosity and altruism, but that is not necessarily good. Doing Narcissistic Compassion. If you want to know more, watch the video Narcissistic Compassion, and that can happen visually with all goddamn behaviors, showing that it is something, but contributing to other thing. I will tell you now one thing. Narcissistic compassion. I help you, but it is to feel that I am helping you, or to signal socially that I am helping you. So I get elevated from that, so that gives me pleasure, and my primitive instincts, they rise and continue. And secondly, the other person, it is not really being helped by us. And if you want to know more about this, you can see my video. I believe I did in English too, which is, yes, I did. Call it, well, teach a man how to fish and do not give him the fish. I think this is really simple. You can understand this really easy, right? For example, if I am a professor at a university and I am training my students to have self-discipline, to do their work good, better, so they can be reliable and I can trust on them. And they are doing a group work. And the limit gets passed on by, so the work was to be delivered in 14th of September of 2024, but I didn't. The group did not deliver the work. So after 1-2 days, so it will be in 15th of September or 16th of September, I will ask teacher, I'm sorry, we could not deliver the work previously. Can we deliver the work now? And here the reason, it is based on a true a true story, and the reason was we forget. We forget. That was the reason, and I was part of that group. It was my colleague. We thought that she delivered everything, but she didn't deliver anything to the teacher. She was the person that was responsible, and basically she delivered the work, but not the complete work. So we So I believe she sent us a proof that she sent an email, but not everything. So that was the deal, not the full work. And we were on a group call when she, the person that sent the work, um, I believe we were on a group call. It was by email, but I have two examples on my mind of different things. I just don't know at which one is from this specific work. And the professor says, in the example that I'm running on my mind, of course, yes, but in a way that was not really what you would expect. Well, when you want to deliver a work that is definitely past the limit, right? There should be some responsibility to the students, of course, by their lack of competence to see carefully what they should have delivered previously, for sure. Well, but it wasn't. And then, in my opinion, of course, this it enters easily in a huge ball of arguments. But this, in my opinion, it is a way to see. And of course, I'm skipping lots of details, etc., etc. But it's a way that I think we can see how helping it is not necessarily helping, as if this is a continuous and repeatedly and behavior that repeats frequently, meaning it is not just a one-time thing, because just a one-time thing, well, maybe just a one-time thing, but when a thing it is happening and repeating previously, we are just training students in this example, so they are not competent. They are not fucking competent. They are not being trained to be competent. They are trained for the opposite. If I show my little fucking sad face, if I show my little sad face and a victimizing way, not a victimizing, but a self-victimized way to show in the social world, well, and you have everything you want, yeah, okay, you can do whatever you want. You will have one more point. You will. It's okay for you to not do your chores. Well, that's definitely not good, and we can have some pleasure doing those kinds of things when we are on the posture of authority, and that can definitely we can have some pleasure doing that because we feel so good. Oh, she delivered the work after time, and I am so good because I said, yeah, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Pretty bad, in my opinion. So that's a way where when we interact into our consciousness, into responsibility, into what we are really doing or meaning, we can definitely look at things different and do things differently and do things with more consciousness, which is a thing that Carl Jung also talks about, expansion of consciousness, which is a really interesting topic. I was in a symposium of Foundation Real, and I think it got touched the topic of consciousness. Where does it come from? The hell it is? Are we? This is now from a conversation that I had with other professor. Sorry. Does it really exist? Where does it come from? Are we ever going to know? And Carl Jung talks about it a little bit, which is amazing, and it fits right here like a cherry in the top of the cake. I hope you use that. I'm not sure if you use that expression in your country, but please share with me in the comments. I'm always happy to learn. And well, to expand the consciousness, it is related to the ego. It is also called ego expansion. I believe that's the right name. It is also associated with ego expansion, and that it is also related with embracing these thoughts / instinctive animal instincts and these numinous things that will happen to our life as we go through life. It can be even in dreams. Go to a psychoanalyst uh, therapist if you need, or just start looking at your dreams by yourself and try to enter in the in-depths of the profoundness of your psyche. Definitely worth it. Just don't get lost in the trip, because it can be very turbulent and dark as hell, but definitely recommend it. Very good. And as we do that and we see the most profound instincts that are governing us, or and we see these luminous things, images, icons, I guess that can happen too, images, symbols, that's what I'm looking for. Well, definitely we can expand our ego, illuminate the shadow, so we can have our psyche more incorporated into society in a more healthy way, where we are not governed by forces that are primitive and we don't even know that we are governed by faces that are so primitive as the Neolithic guys. Even older than that, Neolithical wasn't so far away, right? Neolithical. Yeah, well, the Neolithical wasn't so far away from where we are right now. 700 years before Jesus Christ until 2005, 2,500 years before Jesus Christ, before Christ. Okay. But yeah, really old primitive instincts like that govern us forever, and that they even govern us today. So that's really interesting. And also Caroline points out that the fact that is a danger, right? That we can be governed by forces that we don't even know, because it is shadow. We suppress it, we neglect it. No, I'm such a good person. I don't think those thoughts. I don't have those feelings. I don't have those, whatever it is. It's a completely bullshit lie, right? That can be masked, I would argue, with trauma before that. So we maybe don't face that or see that because of trauma, something that is blocking. It can be something for sure. But it is bullshit that we don't have that, or people that say that they don't have that. We are all human beings, right? We are not fucking aliens. At least as far as I know. So that's really useful to know, because we can accept more instinctive animal instincts that come to our psyche. We can say, oh, it is coming, so I can accept and transform that into something else, some meaning. Meaning, it doesn't have to be profound meaning. It can be just, well, I was talking about in sex previously. So it can be just, well, it is just an emotion, an urge that I had. The other person is just sitting down next to me in the bus or metro, whatever you want to call it, if you identify with the situation, and life goes on. Boom. Sometimes it is just that, just some layer of meaning that, boom, sits perfectly into the scene, and it's over. Okay. Of course, it can be more hard than that, as depending on the urge of the instincts, it can happen the next time, but probably with so much strength. And as we do that repeatedly, it will disappear. And then next, it is just a girl sitting next to a bus. If we are talking about some sex pervert, stuff like that, joking. It is a good joke. Come on. But it can definitely happen to younger boys for sure. And so yeah, it's not a profound meaning, but it is a meaning that we add to the situation, and then it is normalized and internalized into our psyche. So that's good to know. So the nominus thing, it is the same. About the collective. So even if the collective can be motivated by lots of things to make new inventions, technology, blah blah blah. But definitely, especially on the political front, I will argue, as it is always some movement, meaning it is always different people that will occupy the roles on politics. Uh, it can be very dangerous to on a collective level. These, or these just in what I'm going to point out, not necessarily that that is bad, definitely not, but it can be dangerous because not everybody has definitely their shadow lightened up, and it is next to individuation. Probably according to Jung, it is really hard to be 100% in the individuation state, something like Jesus Christ or Buddha, really in a pure state of enlightenment. And that can be a problem because if he is somebody that is elected, or some people that are in the party of the person who is elected, that have these shadows that are not lightened up, and they are fueled by primitive emotions and instincts that they don't even know, that are pathological, and they don't even know, or not necessarily pathological in the objective world, but they can definitely manifest itself into bad decisions, well, then it can be a problem, right? And we face that all the time. We can destroy yourselves very easy, actually, in the 21st century, easier than ever, which is a beautiful thing to state, right? Maybe it is good to contemplate that and see what the hell we should or we are doing with our lives. So the world needs people like you to save it. Just don't be a goddamn woke joking, a woke guy joking. I like to do jokes sometimes. Well, just don't let the animal instincts to take over, and that's really hard to know, and that's really hard to face, accept, and to incorporate that. But definitely the Jungian psychology, it is the solution for that, in my opinion, at least as far as I studied, read it, listen to professors talking about it, and interacting with people that are professionals in Jungian psychology. And I interact with them, let's say. I'm not the best friends with a full doctor master degree that is been studying Jungian psychology for 20 years, but definitely this is the insights that I take on. And I have lots of books to say from Carl Jung, and I'm going to read them in the next years. I'm going to read them all. That's my goal. In the reading club, The Thinkers, in Portuguese especially. In English, I can have a different plan, but you are definitely invited to join me. I have lots of things more to talk about, but it is already 45 minutes in time. I have to sleep here. I don't want these lights when I'm about to sleep on my face. So I can share with something that is interesting. Oh, I love this one. Love this one, the quote. But because nobody seems to know what to do, maybe it is worth the shot if every single one of us ask if by any meaning their unconscious knows something that can be useful to us all. This is brilliant, brilliant, brilliant in my opinion. So in a group, I thought this in a group when nobody knows what to do, what the solution of some problem that it is on the table, to ask to every single one of the persons that it is on the group if their unconscious has anything that can be useful to everybody to say. That's brutal, 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 because it will hard the answer from the unconscious, but definitely it is worth a shot. It is not what is socially acceptable, recognizable, or expectable. Expectable, even acceptable, right? We can look at Jordan Peterson's case when he listened to his consciousness and to go out and went out to face the woke mob, and more precisely the freedom of more precisely defending freedom of speech for society, as he said. Not my words, their words. So this is really interesting, right? So not my rational part, but what my irrational part has to say about this. does my unconsciousness have something that is intriguing me? That's really worth a shot exploring. Okay, so this is with this phrase that I end. Thank you so much. Just going to check really quick if we have any comments. I would love for that to happen. We don't. Okay. Anyway, if you are watching this on YouTube after the live stream and you want to give a comment, say hi, do any question, join me, please do it. I would appreciate that a lot. Thank you. If you want me to talk about these issues in some event, physical event, please invite me, because I am going to completely happy and enthusiastic about it. Thank you. As always, good luck. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.